All right, this is Those Who Wish Me Dead. I can never remember that title. It just came out on HBO Max. I think it's in theaters too. I'll be honest, I didn't care for it that much, but it's directed by Taylor Sheridan. It's based on a book written by Michael Corda. Corida, I think that's how you say it. Angelina Jolie, she plays Hannah. She's a firefighter, and she does forest service, so they like parachute into the forest when there's like fires to take care of it and save people. And there was a situation that happened, I don't know how long ago, and she still has like trauma from it, and she's having nightmares. Owen, played by Jake Weber, him and his son Connor, played by Finn Little, they're on the run because the father, he was doing some kind of investigation into something, found some potential corruption. So now two guys are after him, trying to kill him, and so yeah, they're trying to get to the news. Well, get to somewhere safe and then get to the news so they can put out that information. But he passes it on to his son at one point. So that's where Angelina Jolie really comes in. Is she has to, she runs into the boy, and so now she has to keep him safe until they're able to get that information to the news to expose it. And there's also a forest fire at one point, and so she has to keep him safe from that. I did not think this was very good. It's kind of all over the place, but we'll do positives first. Nicholas Holt and Aidan Gillen, they play the guys that are going after them. They were probably the main positive of this. Like they are they're able to kill people in such a, well, early on at least, such a subtle way, I guess. Like they were kind of entertaining. Like the idea that they always seem to have like costumes to like blend into places and get into places. You never really find out too much about them. You do find out who they work for, and that was quite a shock when he shows up. It's somebody quite prominent, and I don't know why he was in this. It was almost like, hey, this script is terrible. Who can we get? Well, I mean, it's essentially a glorified cameo, but even he was all right when he shows up. But yeah, they're like savage, and like when you're able to kill a family and blow up their house. I think there was a baby in there too, and then just walk off like it was nothing, and just like get in your car as you blow it up, and just casually have conversation. I mean, you would think that they would like talking about, oh man, how was your day today? Like it's yeah, that's when you have like no soul, and that's entertaining for a villain. I mean, I don't know. It's well acted for the most part. Angelina Jolie, sometimes she's good in it, sometimes she's not. She seems like she's mostly just kind of going through the motions, and there's not much for her to do here because this dialogue's terrible. We'll get to that. The kid, the son, he wasn't very good either. The Connor character, his acting, that actor was not very good. But for the most part, it's acted all right. It's shot competently. It's a fine looking movie. Also, John Berenthal, he's in the movie. He's pretty good. He's the deputy, and he's all right. There's one scene that's pretty awkward between him and the villains because the this movie's so terribly written that even the villains at one point, they've been cold hard killers, and then all of a sudden they're like, we're not killing a pregnant lady, or yeah, we're not going to kill John Barenthal even though he's going crazy, and we should probably like screaming and everything. We should probably take him out because we're going to kill him at some point anyway. Yeah, regardless, but he was still good. That's all I got for positives. Let's just get into it. So this, for one, um, it's quite messy, especially in the first act. Like it's because the father and son, they're in a whole nother area, and then also they have the scene where the son is just kind of petting a horse while they're stopped when they're still on the run. That scene was completely unnecessary. I feel like it was to pad out the runtime because I think this is barely theatrical anyway. It's not that long, so that definitely felt like we were kind of padding things, and it's kind of slow in other areas too. But you have that, and then they have to make their way down, and it's real paper thin why they're going there. I guess his wife used to, oh, no, his wife, John Barenthal is his ex-wife's brother or something like that. It's real paper thin. It's to the point where Angelina Jolie is the main character in this, and she's not even in that much. Like she's not even really involved in the plot. Like your protagonist doesn't even know about the plot at all until like 40 minutes into the movie. I think it was like 40 minutes. For the most part, she's just kind of sad, and she's just kind of dealing with the trauma of the thing that happened before and having flashbacks and stuff. For the most part, she has nothing to do with the plot until 40 minutes in. And then when she is part of it, she's just kind of hanging out with the boy and she has to help him get away from the fire. That's about it. She doesn't really do much in this. You know, it just feels too jumbled and messy. And then the dialogue is terrible. The dialogue is so bad. Like you have the banter earlier on, which is barely developing the character at all. With Angelina Jolie and the other firefighters when they're drinking beer at some barbecue or something, and they're like, "Hey, yeah, yeah." They're talking to John Berenthal. Oh, how do you get your face to be like that? He's like, "Oh, I practice in the mirrors." It's ridiculous. They're playing cornhole, and she makes this like impossible shot that into the hole. I've played cornhole before. I call BS. That's like impossible to do. Regardless, like their dialogue is just so. It's just kind of cliche to the point where you've seen it in like every other movie like this where it's just they're drinking beer like oh yeah oh she's gonna do it oh it's bad, but not even just that the bantering with the firefighters early on. The dad and the son, they have pretty awkward dialogue too. Can't girls have cooties for one more year while I get ready for what I'm preparing for? It's like Angelina Jolie's talking to the kid about, oh, you're gonna be sucking face with a cheerleader. It's like it's weird. It's really awkward. It doesn't feel natural at all. The dialogue. That's probably one of the worst parts of this movie. For the most part, it just kind of doesn't work narratively. I think the script is fucking awful. It's predictable as all shit. I mean, I was calling out not only what was going to happen, but the exact way that it was going to happen before it did. There's something that happens later on with Angelina Jolie and one of the villains, and I saw that coming miles away. I was like, okay, well, we can't see her right now, so she's about to do this. And that's exactly what happened. I mean, it was just so predictable. The dad writes the note. I don't know why he didn't have it on like a drive or something like that for like a backup before, but whatever. He wrote it on like a note to give to his son. And I'm thinking to myself, why would he do that? I wonder. It's just so obvious what's going to happen to him. Oh, and that fire, like I've never seen a fire move like that. Not just in a in real life, but even in a movie. The fire moves so quickly. It's not. It doesn't feel like it's spreading. It feels like it's moving. It feels like it's actively chasing Angelina Jolie. It's insanity what's going on with that fire. Anyway, that's enough for me. The villains kept my interest, and they were entertaining. I mean, they got to the point where they got up to this car and they just unleashed. So I'm gonna give it a rental because it's not good. I actually think it's pretty bad, but it's not bad enough for me to give it trash. And it's still, I could see people liking it. Definitely don't go see it in the theater though. If you have it on HBO Max, yeah, sure, take a look at it. I guess I don't think you'll get through it, but maybe I don't know. Maybe you'll like the villains like I did, and that'll get you through it. So that's how I feel about it. That is Those Who Wish Me Dead. Subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff, and we're done.